afternoon, everyone. I'm Rita Greco, a member of the Cultural Committee, and it is our pleasure that you are here today to honor four very special, special ladies. I've known all of them for a very long time. As a matter of fact, one of them was on the Cultural Committee herself many years ago. When I started 29 years ago, she had already been on for a while, Marilyn Copland. Lisa, I know a long time because, well, Lisa does about almost everything you could think of. So she's involved with the Cultural Committee also. Our pleasure. And Antoinette, I worked with Antoinette. I taught for Antoinette. I took over her job when she left the academy to be principal of, what, School 9? Yeah. Okay. And Renee, of course, I know Renee, as many of us do, because I was Renee's mother's teacher. My stenography girl. Anyway, we're very pleased that we can have this tea and be with you today to honor these ladies. I also want to thank our Cultural Committee, and I'm sure you would too. We have a number of them here in the room. I don't know, maybe some of them are in the back. Eloise Orange is in the back.
They could come up.
Yes, why don't you call them up? Eloise?
Can the members of the Cultural Committee please come up?
Yes. Will the members of the Cultural Committee please come up?
Everyone.
Yes, so we have Kira
Debbie, Kira.
and Amparo and Eloise, Evelyn, who is a master of decorating, as you can see. And we have two new members that we're proud to have also. Gladys and Janet. And lastly, and definitely not leastly, Mary Beth Strano. Without her, none of this is possible. She does a lot on her own. So you're going to enjoy the day, I'm sure. And again, I'm very pleased and happy you're here to honor these ladies. And I'll give the microphone over to Mary Beth Strano.
Good afternoon. First of all, the Cultural Committee, we are an all-volunteer group. We manage to have events in the city without having your taxes go up. We volunteer our time. We volunteer our resources. I'm very blessed to have some very talented people to do things because you can't do it alone. It's very difficult. We solicit donations from different companies to help offset the expenses we have. We have September to Remember, a festival in the summer. And that sort of is one of the fundraisers for our Cultural Committee. That's been happening for years. It used to be the October Festival, but it has rides, it has vendors, it has performances. It's just a very nice summer event. Then we do the Christmas tree lighting. We have the horse and carriage rides that go around City Hall. We have entertainment. We're blessed with entertainment from the high school for that, and everyone looks forward to it. Then we have Santa. We started doing it outside at the promenade. It used to be in here. Everyone jammed in. I'm sure you remember that. But with COVID coming around, we had to become creative, and we started doing it outside, and everyone loves it. We have crowds of people now. I don't believe the streets are full now, but they keep it very simple. We have hot chocolate we give out. We have the hot pretzels. The children wait in line and get a picture with Santa. Thanks to Evelyn and Mickey from Uptown Linden, she couldn't stay. They decorate the stage so people get beautiful Christmas pictures. You know, and you don't have to go to a studio or a mall, and all of our Linden families really love it. So that's something that I'm very proud that we all do. We have started in the past several years. We've had 4 Black History programs. Last year, we did virtual interviews, so we could put it on TV 36, and it's on YouTube. Like Linden has a YouTube channel. You can see videos of a lot of the events we had. But each year, we do a different event, and this is our 4th annual Women's Tea. And we found this to be just a really nice event to have to honor the people in Linden. After I moved to Linden, I really grew to understand this community is very special. The youth, you know, I work in the schools, the youth coming through here, they are the most well-rounded children. And I really couldn't be more thrilled to stay here, raise my family here, and I'm glad we can have events like this to honor them and to entertain them. But right now, I would like to thank our elected officials who have come. Of course, we have Mayor Derek Armstead. We have Councilwoman Lisa Orman, who are we honoring today. We have Councilman Barry Javik, and we have county commissioners here today. They will be presenting proclamations that will be read into the county minutes for you. We have Linden's own Commissioner Joe Bodek, and we have Commissioner Chair Kimberly Palmieri Mahmood, excuse me. But we're so thrilled to have the commissioners come to our events. You know, Linden is coming through. We have a school board member, Lamari Centrone. Did I miss anyone? Because I get nervous. Oh, my goodness. Excuse me. We have our first woman council president, Michelle Yamakaitis. She was honored before because she does an amazing job. She does so much for her community. She teaches religion in her churches. She's just amazing. She teaches, but we really have a wonderful group here today. I'm looking out. I know all of you, and I too remember watching Renee on the stage along Blanky Street saying, "Oh my gosh, that girl is amazing." I was really, and over the years, following her career, it's exciting. And she's a Linden girl, and she's maintained her roots. She stays connected with the town. So we thought that was really special. And all of these ladies have different talents. They have different contributions they've made to our town, and we're very proud and we're very honored to be honoring you today. Mayor, would you like to say a few words before we? I know you like to. Thank you.
Where would this world be without women? That's what I want to say. Okay. Now, I tell everybody, and I'll tell it 1,000 times. My grandmother and grandfather came to Linden in 1927. My grandfather was the hard worker. My grandmother was the one who managed the money. Okay, and when they bought their first home, she tells me it was a story that he went to work every day, and she said at night she would go through his pockets and take his change out. And she said after a while, she said she had a little change. She walked to the bank on Wood Avenue, and she said they thought she was lost. And she said, "No, I want to open up a bank account." So she opens up a bank account. Grandfather didn't even know about it. And she continues to put money in the bank. And then one day she says, "Henry, I think we should buy a home." And he says, "Well, where are we going to get them? We don't have the money." And she says, "Yes, we do." And they bought their first home. And then after that, she found that the house next door was for sale. And he said, "Well, if we buy that one, we'll lose this one." She says, "No, we won't." She says, "We'll just rent it out. It'll pay for itself." And he was very reluctant. But she went ahead and she bought the house anyway. Okay? And she said that my grandfather was very upset that she had gone on and done this without him. And she said he wouldn't speak to her until all of the men in the neighborhood started complimenting him on what a fine job he had done to not only own one home, but to own 2 homes. And they said, "How'd you do it, Henry?" And he was popping his suspenders, she told me. And he said, well, we rent this one out, it'll pay for itself. That's the same thing my grandmother had told him. She basically put us on the map, because after a while, at that time, all the African Americans in Linden lived on the south side of town. So she had bought the house next door, and then she got really creative and bought the one across the street, and the one next to that one, and the lot next to that one. So at one time, they almost owned the whole block. And then politicians, as fate would have it, there was always 2 guys fighting each other for the 7th Ward seat. And my grandfather, and they wanted the black vote. And my grandfather and her figured out that whoever they went with would win the election. So he leveraged their position in the community to see who was going to get elected, to basically have some say in the outcome of the election. And hence we became involved in politics. That's a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And it wasn't Luke Skywalker. It was Jimmy Lee Armstead, my grandmother. Okay, she did what she had to do, and she put us on the map. So I give her. Grandpa was a hard worker, but I give her all. I say she was the brains of the operation. So women have a very special place in the Armstead family. They have a very special place in this country. To think that not too long ago that you weren't even allowed to vote. Okay, now we have a woman vice president. Okay, so we've come a long way in this country, and I want everybody to know that we're not going to go any further unless we continue on the path that we're on, letting women have their say and be a part of what makes this country what it is, okay? And not for nothing. My mother carried me for 9 months. I mean, I wouldn't be here without her. That's another outstanding woman. My mother, she's going to be 90 years old, 90 years young this November. Like my grandmother, my father would bring that check home and she would manage the money. You know, so we're here because we're successful because of what she's done. So we're very thankful to have good, strong women in our family. We're very thankful to have good, strong women in this city. And I always say, Linden, the great city that it is, it's not by happenstance. You know, all of a sudden, Linden just wasn't a great city. People made the city great. Okay, and I tell you, and one of my other favorite sayings is people say behind every great man is a good woman. And I say, don't even try it, because sometimes they're right beside us, and sometimes they'll even take a bullet for you. They'll be in front of you. So without women, we go nowhere. So we should all be thankful of the contributions that they've made. And without further ado, we have a number of great women on our program today. We have Mrs. Marilyn Coughlin. I'm not going to go through everything, but I just want to, let her know how proud I am of her and what her and her family have meant to me in town. Now, Renee Marino, I don't know you that well, but congratulations. I know you're a Lindenite also, aren't you a Lindenite? A Lindenite, okay. And we have Antoinette Modrak. Great job in the school system. And of course, we have none other than Lisa Orman, who's my sister, councilwoman. And I just want to congratulate you all. I see Mary Beth is chomping at the bit telling me to get out of here, you know what I mean? Because I can stay here all day if you want, No. But anyway, God bless you all, and we appreciate all you've done. And, and let's pass down this great legacy, not only to our sons, but to our daughters. God bless you all.
All right. Now, I thought it would be nice, before we get eating, Renee Marino, she now gives inspirational speeches as her new career. And I just asked her if she would just talk to us for a little while. I thought it would be very interesting. I see how difficult, and you have to be very hardworking and talented to continue your career in entertainment. It's not, okay, I have a job, I'm gonna show up every day. You have to really be creative, you have to really be talented and hardworking. And before we start with the presentations, and just right before we eat so we can relax after, is if I'd like to introduce her husband up, Michael Lopez Calleja, and he can introduce his wife.
Thank you. I'm not much of a speaker like my wife is, but I'll try to give this a shot. When asked to introduce my wife, Renee, my first thought was like, what am I going to say? She's my wife. This could go a lot of different ways. Got a little nervous there. But since she was being honored for her success and her work, I thought I'd focus on some of her great accolades, like how talented she is, how hard she works, how every day over the last 11 years has been a complete whirlwind, from being on Broadway shows to working with Clint Eastwood to flying to Italy to give speeches, and then now she works with some of the biggest entrepreneurs in the world, like Tony Robbins, David Goggins, Mark Cuban, and next weekend Magic Johnson. So it's pretty wild what she does for a living. But I paused and I thought, what would her dad say? I'm going to try to hold this together. Her dad was a man of few words, and God, we all loved him. And he was such an influence on her life, just like her mother, Ona, over there. He and Ona would be the first ones to say, we're so proud of you because you always stay true to yourself. You never followed the crowd. You trusted your gut every step of the way, and you have faith and you believe that life was meant to be lived, cherished, and to help other people. And that's what Renee does every day now. She really does help other people. And while she has all these amazing successes, she never once changed from that little girl who did Annie on stage in Linden, who my mom ironically watched. You never take people or life for granted. You treat everyone with love, compassion, and empathy, which is so important nowadays. And you're an example of how being a trusting, hardworking, good person every single day pays off, because it's paid off big. Before I go, I want to say one more thing. Renee never, ever, ever forgets where she comes from. She speaks on stages all over the place, and whether she's on interviews, podcasts, or even on her speaker reel that's done throughout the whole country now at this stage, it mentions Linden, New Jersey. So thank you, Renee, for never forgetting where you came from. She and I are proud to come from Linden. I also come from Linden. And this has been a reoccurring topic lately. We talk a lot about where we came from and how our parents are really proud of the area. There's so many different cultures here that makes life really special. It's something we should talk about more and more instead of being from one little area with only one type of culture. So thank you, Linden, for preparing us for our life, because I think it really did help us. And with that, I'm going to pass it off to my wife, Renee. So once again, thank you, Linden, for honoring her. Thank you, Renee, for being you and teaching me so many things and being a better person every day.
Wow. I love you, Michael. Thank you. When I was a little girl, my father gave me advice that has been with me every step of my journey and has helped shape me into the woman who I am today. He said, Renee, always stay true to who you are and be confident in that person. People will try to change you and knock you down, but always stay true to who you are and the rest will fall into place. Part of being true to who you are means knowing where you come from. And boy, do I know where I come from. Whew. No matter where I am, in all wakes of life, when people say, Renee, where are you from? I say loud and proud, I am from Linden, New Jersey. I'm so grateful to be coming from a city that is full of diversity, rich in culture and arts. Linden is the place where I developed my love for performing. Right here in this room is where I had my first rehearsal for my very first musical with the Linden Summer Playhouse, George M. I got on that stage, and it was my very first singing solo. Down by the Erie, there waits my pal. Though the days grow long and dreary, he declares he'll ne'er grow weary. Poor John O'Leary, I'm afraid you've lost your gal, for she's left you flat, my dearie, by the Erie Canal. And I sang that song that first day with those lights on, and boom, a light bulb went off. I said, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life. I want to be on Broadway. And that was like the equivalent of saying, I want to be a quarterback in the NFL, by the way. The following year, I got the title role of Annie singing, The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow. And then I had the joy of being in Linden High School, where I was immersed in the musical theater program, the dance program, where I had the most incredible teachers, guidance counselors, principal, vice principal, guiding me, supporting me, pushing me in the direction of my dream, always encouraging. And when it came time for me to figure out where I wanted to go to college and what I wanted to major in, everyone I knew, all those who loved me as well, they said, well, Renee, performing is a really unstable career. You better get something to fall back on. And my gut, in staying true to myself, made me say, nope, I'm gonna do it. And I majored in musical theater at Wagner College, and it was some of the greatest 4 years of my life. And the day after my college graduation, I was on a plane to Biloxi, Mississippi, to have my first professional gig as the lead singer in a casino show called Heat Wave. And when I called my mother up that day from Wagner and said, Mom, I just booked my first professional job in Biloxi, she said, what? Where's Biloxi? We in Linden had never heard of Biloxi, Mississippi. And after I had my 4 years and went away and did my first professional job, I remember standing on the balcony of my hotel room, looking over the Gulf, and I called my mom up. I was so excited when I got my first paycheck, and I said, Mom, you'll never believe this. I just got paid to do what I love. I got paid to do my hobby. And this is what happens when we stay true to who we are and follow our gut and our heart. After those 3 months were up, where did I come back? I came back home to Linden, New Jersey, to be a substitute teacher in the exact place where I grew up going to school. I was subbing at Linden High School, where just a few years prior, I was on the other side of the table, and I was like, whoa, this is weird. And while I was substitute teaching, I was doing that as my day job while I was auditioning, going in and out of the city every day that there was an audition, facing the rejection. See, this is why people say, oh, the entertainment industry, the performing industry, it's tough. It is, because it feels so personal. Renee, you're not tall enough. Dancers are 5'9" and above. Renee, you look too Italian. You don't look ethnic enough. And it goes on and on. So if I wasn't grounded in who I was, I never would have been able to achieve my dreams in the way I have. I went on to do tours, 3.5 years of touring all over the world. Cats, Disney's High School Musical, Jersey Boys, and every time I had a layoff, I'd fly into Newark Airport, and there would be my father picking me up, and he'd get in the car and say, tell me what's been going on, and we'd drive down Route 109, and without fail, I would look at my father and say, there's no place like home. And there's not. Even though I saw some of the most beautiful places in the world, I would call my parents and be like, Mom, you have to see these homes. I've never seen mansions like this. We didn't grow up around places like this. But it didn't matter, because the minute I got in that car and I was back in Linden, it was home. And there was nothing better than that. Broadway was always the goal. That was always the dream, and I always had that in the back of my mind. So even though I was doing amazing things, touring, seeing the world, I knew that if I wanted my dream to come true, I'd have to get back to New York City and keep auditioning And in 2010, I got my Broadway dream. And I was on stage of the Palace Theater the day of my first Broadway appearance. And I stood under the lights, and we took our bow together, and tears filled my eyes as I heard my dad's voice saying to me, "Stay true to who you are." I went on to do 3 other Broadway shows after that, and then in 2013, I was on the Broadway stage of Jersey Boys. One of my greatest dreams, because to be in a show of where I come from, oh my goodness, to play a Jersey girl who's sassy and sarcastic, sign me up. And I'm on stage, and it's a Sunday matinee performance, and I look out into the audience, and who do I see staring back at me but Clint Eastwood? And we got word that Clint was going to be directing the film version of the musical, and they began calling people in from our cast to audition. And let me tell you all, when I heard this, I said, please, they're gonna hire A-list celebrities out of Los Angeles to play these roles. Marissa Tomei is gonna play Mary Delgado. So I didn't think much of it. And then they were looking for someone to play Mary Delgado. So I said, you know what? Called up my agent, I said, let's see if we can get me an audition. Weeks go by. My agent calls me, she says, Renee, I'm so sorry. I don't know what the problem is. They said they won't give you an audition for Mary Delgado, but they'll give you one for one of the angels who sings My Boyfriend's Back. And I hung up that phone so disappointed and so confused because every girl was auditioning for the role I was playing 8 shows a week, but me. So I spent some time feeling my feelings, let the tears out, and then I threw my hands up and I said, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go in and audition for an angel. And the day of the audition, the casting director says to me, Renee, would you like to sing My Boyfriend's Back or read the scene? And at that moment, I heard this quiet little voice within say, you have to do this, it feels too right. And I looked at the casting director and I said, you know, Jeff, I was really hoping to come in and read for the role of Mary Delgado. I had no idea what he was gonna say. And he looked at me and he said, I was just thinking the same thing. I said, amazing, great. So I do the audition that day. I leave there feeling so grateful because I gained a chance. I go back to 8 shows a week. My agent calls me 3 weeks later and she says, you're Mary Delgado in the movie Clint Eastwood Loves You. And I was like, whoa! One of the most surreal moments of my life. And that happened while I was at home in my childhood bedroom in Linden, New Jersey, with my mom, my dad, and my grandmother there with me to experience this moment. That first day of filming, with never being on a TV or film set before, it felt like jumping off of a cliff. But again, I had that quiet voice within say, Renee, you know what you're doing. Clint Eastwood hired you, trust in your talent and leap. And that first day and every day that followed, I would sit and eat lunch with Mr. Clint Eastwood, ask him every question I could, and listen in a complete way. Because like many of you are, I'm a sponge, and I like to use every opportunity I can to learn and to grow, and I knew I was in the presence of greatness. A month into the film, I'm eating lunch once again, because eating's my favorite thing to do. And we're sitting with Clint and one of the producers of the film when they begin talking about how Clint knew he wanted me for the role when he saw me on Broadway. And I said, wait, do you guys want to hear a funny story? I never got an audition for Mary. The only reason I got to read the scene is because I opened up my big mouth in the room and asked. And they said, wait, what do you mean? We requested you. We said, we want the girl from the Broadway show to come into this audition. Imagine my surprise. I came to find out that day that there was a middle person, casting associate, juggling a few films at once and just dropped the ball. In other words, if I did not stay true to myself and listen to my gut and speak up in the room that day, I could have missed my once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And my story's not unique. For me, it was about staying true to myself and speaking up to read for a movie role, but for you, it could be about staying true to yourself, to speak up to your boss to gain that promotion, or to your family members to tell them what's on your heart, or to connect with your team. in the industry that you work in, whatever the case may be, when you stay true to who you are and use your voice to speak up, you open the door to every opportunity. I came back to Broadway a few years after that, and the most recent Broadway show I did was Pretty Woman the Musical, and at that time, I began writing my book because I saw a need for help with people in the area of communication. Everyone's so attached to their digital devices, they forget how to connect in a real way. And because I grew up in Linden, I feel like I had an unfair advantage. I grew up around every kind of person from every culture, every race, every religion. So that gave me the gift of learning how to connect with everyone. Because at the core, we're all just human beings. And that allowed me to then transition into my new career, which is in helping people to communicate and connect more authentically to create the opportunities in their lives. I'll leave you all with this. We live in a world of social media, more distractions than we know what to do with everybody telling us who we need to be and what we need to do to create the success and personal fulfillment that we want in our lives, as well as business fulfillment. The best thing we can do is stay true to ourselves. The rest will fall into place. Thank you all so much.
All right, well, I know everyone's getting hungry, so one thing we are blessed with is the Linden High School ROTC cadets. They are, girls, they are an amazing group. They do community service. They help at all our events. If you've ever seen the entire ROTC parade down Wood Avenue, it's unbelievable. And between that program and our dance program at the high school, the musical theater program, we have so much to keep our children involved in constructive things. And it's just amazing. Now I would like to call our County Commissioner Joseph Bodek and our City Council President Michelle Yamakaitis up here. We have proclamations from the city and from the county to present, and they are kind enough to bring it here to present it instead of asking you to go to a council meeting to get it. So I think it's more intimate here as well. If any of you would like to take pictures with them, or it would be fine.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here honoring this occasion. A lot of times women have not the proper recognition that they've deserved over the years. We've had a lot of heroes that are men and stuff, but there's women out there that have done as much and have accomplished as much. To begin with, we have Mrs. Copeland today that's being honored. She did a lot in her own right. There's a lot that's written in here about her accomplishments, her service to the city of Linden. And on a personal note, she also had a lot to say in the background. Her husband Alvin was the assistant superintendent of schools, a political leader in town, and Mrs. Copeland never shied away from sharing her opinion about any of the issues with any of us. And that's what we need. We need people to speak out and express their opinions so that we can move forward and move society forward and have some great accomplishments. So with that being said, Michelle.
Mrs. Copeland, your jacket says it all. You are a rock star. You know? You've always been one of my heroes in the city of Linden, somebody that, as a woman, I always looked up to and aspired to be like. So I thank you for all you have done for the city of Linden. You are one of a kind. So.
An old lady now. That's okay, I am an old lady. thank you.
On behalf of the Board of County Commissioners, I have one for you also.
Oh, thank you, Joe. Thank you very much. Well, I have a lot to say, but I'm going to say it very quickly. But there's one thing I have to say, because Renee talked about what her father said, and the mayor was talking about women not being treated fairly. And I have to tell you this, that I was either 12 or 14, I don't remember, when my mother said to me, and men, you're not going to like this, that women are every bit as good as men or better. And then a little later on, I found out in life, my uncle was a doctor. And my mother wanted to go to college. And at that time, you know where women were. But I never forgot what she said. And women, don't ever forget, you are every bit as good as a man or better. Woo! And we know that. We know that. Now, I just want to introduce the people that came for me, my two friends over here, my friend Joyce over here who came from Delaware. I have my 3 grandchildren, and one is going to give me a great-grandchild in July. So we don't tell anybody that she's extra special. My daughter-in-law, Karen, and nobody could want a better daughter-in-law, and my 2 sons. May have been a little aggravating growing up, just a little, and if anybody knows them, they know that. But right now, I could not be without them because they are very special. How I got to 95, I do not know. But I have a couple of tips. Get your needs fixed. Please, get your needs fixed, because as far as health is concerned with me, it's fine, it's my needs. And I also want to say, I really, whatever I did for the city, I did because I loved it. I did not do it to deserve whatever I got. But I just want you all to know that I appreciate it and have lived in Linden. You're going to do the arithmetic, I'm not. I came in when I was 25. I'm here and I'm not leaving. And I thank you all.
Karen, would you like to come up, or would you like to speak from there? I'll give you your choice.
Go ahead. Come on.
No, I sort of skipped. Karen was supposed to come first, but you know what? We play it by ear.
Don't make fun of my glasses. I wear these at home because I could always find them. And today I couldn't find my other one, so I had to bring these. Oh well. I really need to take your speaking class, Renee, because I get so nervous at this stuff. So bear with me. Okay. First, I would like to congratulate Lisa Ormond. Sorry. A friend that I admire, Renee Marino, a beautiful soul that I have had the pleasure of knowing since she was a teenager, and Antoinette Modrak, who was such an inspirational teacher and mentor to my children. Your dedication and impact on this community is greatly appreciated, and we are all here to honor your achievements. The reason I stand here today is to introduce and praise a woman I have been blessed to have had in my life for 50 years. That sounds so long. 30 of which she has been my family. Marilyn Coplin has treated the city of Linden the same way she has treated my family since day one, with devotion, love, and care, with such class and kindness. She dedicated many years on various city committees, such as the Library Board for 25 years, the Special Improvement District for 25 years, Cultural and Heritage Club for 20-plus years, and has volunteered her time to make many community events happen. Even after retiring in 2002, she came back as the secretary of the Planning Board, where she continued her service until 2019. The passion she has for this city kept her going for another 22 years. And I truly believe she would still be working if it were up to her. Marilyn does everything in life from her caring heart, whether it be for her family or the city that she loves. She does it because she wants to, while asking for nothing in return. Mom, myself, Tony, Corey, and my children are all so proud of your accomplishments. And, well, I was supposed to say I would love to introduce Marilyn Coplin, but you all know her. But you are my idol.
To Marilyn Coplin, in recognition of your continued years of unwavering support and tireless efforts in the city of Linden, we honor you.
I will always say that. Thank you very much.
And next up, I'll invite the Commissioner and Council President, Renee Marino. Your husband did your introduction, so come on down.
Wow, what an impressive speech that was, and about being true to yourself and what you can accomplish. Renee's been friends with my daughter and my son-in-law forever, and she just does an outstanding job, and she's inspiring people. She inspired people here, and she's going to continue to do that, and that's what's going to move this generation forward and get the recognition that women deserve. Renee, on behalf of the Union County Board of Commissioners, I'd like to present you with this resolution.
Thank you so much.
And Renee, on behalf of the city of Linden, we are so proud to call you a Lindenite. You keep putting us on the map all over the world. So, you know, I saw the movie Jersey Boys and didn't realize, so now I have to go back and rewatch it again. It's one of my favorites, but really, we hear about how great the arts program is in the city of Linden. You're a shining star in it, so we're glad you're back. You know, keep mentoring these kids, if you will.
Yes.
We appreciate it, so thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Are we taking a photo? Okay. Am I saying?
Yep.
I just want to thank the Linden Cultural and Heritage Committee, the board, the commissioners, the mayor, everyone here in Linden. As you already know, I'm so grateful and proud to be a part of Linden always and forever. And I have to thank the very, very important people in my life. This man standing right here, who you met, my husband, he is the most supportive, loyal, incredible man that I've ever met besides my father, who's up in heaven. He supports me each and every day with this new business that I ventured into. I could not do it without him. It's really our business. and my beautiful mother, Ona, over here in the green, who has been my support system, my best friend always. My beautiful in-laws, Diane and Henry, who I call Mama and Papa, and my friend Denise, who's at the table and who's just such a loving soul, takes care of all of us, my mother, my Father in heaven. And I want to thank God for allowing me to have this life, to have been brought up in this wonderful place. And let's just all keep staying true to ourselves, speaking up, and having those real connections with each other, because it's so important that we be the change, because technology is only going to get more advanced. So let's just be the ones who look at each other eye to eye, give hugs, and sit and have tea together like today. Thank you so much.
Renee, stay here.
Renee Marino, in recognition of your outstanding achievement in the arts and entertainment, we honor you.
All right, Antoinette Modrak. I would like Barbara Brady, if you would like to come up and introduce her, and then they will give the resolutions.
Okay. Congratulations to all 4 women. So very proud to know you all, and so well deserving. And it's my pleasure to introduce my very dear friend, Antoinette Modrak. I'm going to give you a little brief history about Antoinette. It is in the program. I'm not going to read it from the program, but just so you know about Antoinette's impact on Linden. Antoinette is a graduate of the Linden Public Schools, and she earned her bachelor's degree in business administration and marketing management from Montclair State College. She worked in retail marketing and as an office manager before becoming a full-time teacher. She has taught at the Union County Regional School District and the Springfield Public School District before coming to Linden in November of 2000. At Linden High School, Antoinette was a business education teacher and was the club advisor for DECA, the Consumer Bowl. She also worked with the International Baccalaureate students on their community service projects. Administratively, Antoinette was principal at Deerfield School No. 9 and principal at Linden High School before becoming the administrator in charge of developing the before and after school programs in 8 elementary schools. Throughout her career, she was involved with the Linden Chamber of Commerce, the Mayor's Youth Commission, the Linden Public Library Board, and the Raway Relay for Life. She is now retired after 29 years in education and enjoys spending time with her husband, Michael, their 2 sons, and her 2 fur babies. On a personal note, I have been friends with Antoinette for a very long time. Well, of course, we met teaching at Linden High School together. I am so proud of all she has accomplished in her career. She has given so much of her time to the city of Linden and the children in the Linden Public School District throughout those 29 years. Everything she has done has been with a kind heart and a caring soul. And if you know Antoinette, that's Antoinette. She is so very deserving of this honor, and I am very proud to call you my friend.
Antoinette, you embody what this month is about. You went on with your education, you went on to become an administrator and a leader in the Linden School District, but beyond that, you influenced countless generations of young women to reach out and achieve what is important to them and to get there. On behalf of the Union County Board of Commissioners, I want to thank you and present you with this resolution.
And Antoinette, on behalf of the City of Linden, we thank you for everything you have done for all the children in the City of Linden. You made a mark on so many children that there's going to be many other women standing up here that you probably taught or had an impact on mentoring. So again, thank you for all you have done, and we appreciate you.
afternoon, everyone. So, what an honor. I want to thank the committee for considering me. I always do what I've always, let me just go back because it's emotion. So stay true to who you are, caring heart, right? And being kind. But I always believed in seeing people, like people deserve to be seen. And I learned that from my family. I learned that from my mom. I also learned tenacity from my mom because when she had hard times, she didn't just curl up in a ball. She said, I'm gonna do this. And I'm going to go back to school. I'm gonna get a certification. I'm gonna be the first female custodian this city of Linden ever had. I am going to learn to drive at 47. I am going to own my own condo. I am going to do these things. And I am not gonna take no for an answer. And that's my mom, and she kind of passed it down to me and my family. And the one thing I think I was able to do so much with students, especially like some of my students sitting here, I always liked to listen to them, and I would get so excited from their ideas. And they would come to me and go, I want to do blah, 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 blah. And I go, I like that, but how are we gonna do it? And it was just a matter of giving them the proper tools to get their voice heard, to do what they wanted. And that, to me, was the gift. That was always my reward. My reward was seeing them be successful. My reward was seeing teachers reach their potential. And when teachers had an idea and they wanted to try, so many people are afraid to fail. You have to have somebody there beside you to say, it's okay to fall down, I got you. We're gonna learn from it and make it better. And that's always been my outlook. And I learned a lot of that from all the people here today. And at my table, I've done some of my best work. At my table, I have Janet Miller and Ruthie, who I met through being on the Chamber of Commerce, being the school representative. And with them, we got students jobs, we created scholarships, we did fundraising events, and we created this connection that students in small business in Linden could thrive and be there for each other. I got to work with Faith and Michelle, my friends right here, and Marla, with our Relay for Life, from also being parents, and with Maria and Randy, we all were parents at school number 9. We worked together with our students to, create the best atmosphere for them, but also to help fight for a cure for cancer. What else did I do with this? Library board, where's Miss Marilyn Copeland? I did some of my good work with her. I'm not here today because of just what I did. I'm here today because of what everyone else has done. We are some of our experiences. And all of these ladies, Michelle being the first female council president, that's inspiring. You're showing, every woman here is showing people you can do anything. And that's what our future needs to know. You can do anything. You can be anything. And I firmly believe that. And one student used to sass back at me and said, oh, it's not like I could be president. And I said, why not? I go, you just need to find the path on how to get there. And they just kind of looked at me. And I said, yeah, your potential is unleashed. It's anywhere. You can do anything. And I have to thank Miss Rita right here. We got to work together. But she was a role model for me as well. My mother-in-law was part of the Cultural Heritage Committee way back when it first started. She worked with Marilyn, and she worked with Joni, she worked with Rita, and created, so the love of giving back, who is all around. So I do want to thank everyone here for coming on a beautiful Saturday to celebrate each other, but I also want to thank everyone in here for helping me be the person I am today. All right, thank you.
Antoinette, in recognition of your dedicated support and tireless efforts for the students in the Linden school system and extracurricular activities, we honor you.
Thank you.
And finally, last but not least, Councilwoman Lisa Ormond, she has been a liaison for our committee. And not only has she been a liaison, but Lisa and her daughter Kira, they help with every event. Being a liaison from council to a committee doesn't mean you have to get in there up to your elbows and work. But we are very thankful. She's very involved. She helps us with everything. I admire her so much. There's not enough I could say about her, but we have a little joke here that Council President Yamakaitis is Thelma, and Councilwoman Lisa Ormond is Louise. So, Commissioner Bodek, would you like to?
Sure. Before I talk about our next honoree, we all heard the mayor speak before about his grandmother and the role she played in his life. Well, there's another woman present here that also deserves a little bit of recognition, and that's his mom. She raised not one person, but a family committed to public service. Her son's the mayor, her daughter is the 1st Ward councilman, her other son is the 8th Ward councilman, and her granddaughter is a member of the Board of Education. And I think that deserves some recognition. Mrs. Armstead? Our next honoree, I got to know when she became a member of the Board of Ed, and she would come around to some of the council activities and the city activities and the Democratic Club activities. And Lisa was never shy about making her opinion known and making sure she had a stamp on what was going on. And I think that's one of the most important contributions, is that she stamps it with her own personality, her own interest, and what's important to her and to her community. Lisa, on behalf of the Union County Board of Commissioners, I would like to thank you for your service and present you with this resolution.
Lisa, I was asked to introduce you today, so I have the honor of introducing this woman that needs no introduction. Even though she is tiny, okay, she has shown she is a force to be reckoned with. She leaves a mark on everyone she meets. Growing up the sister of a man who inspired to be a politician right from the crib, this girl could have easily faded into a shadow. But that was not the case. I am so proud to be able to introduce not only one of my colleagues on the city council, but someone I could call a friend, a sister, Louise, the other half of Thelma and Louise, which the mayor likes to call us, Lisa Ormond. Okay, Lisa Ormond is a name that has been etched into the city of Linden's history. Not only is she a fierce fighter for the residents of her 1st Ward, I think her most important accomplishment is that she has made her mark as a champion for the rights of special needs people. As the mother of 2 children with special needs, she started off as a fierce lioness, fighting for the needs of her children, which evolved into fighting for the needs of special needs children in the Linden School District. Followed by running for the Board of Education, that was her platform. She wanted to make sure everyone was treated fairly. Over the years, that role has now expanded into counseling parents of not only children, but adult children, including those in the workforce. I am most proud of Lisa Ormond when she stands up and reminds those in power about how to be more inclusive, very often citing statutes and educating people on how to be more sensitive. So Lisa, On behalf of your colleagues on the City Council, I present you with this resolution today, and I am so proud of you. You know, we're going to keep fighting for those special needs children, so thank you.
Good evening, and thank you, Thelma, for that wonderful introduction. First of all, I want to say that I am so humbled because typically I am on the other side of this podium selecting Linden's most outstanding women. So to be considered one of Linden's outstanding women, I am truly humbled, and I am just so grateful for this honor. So I thank the committee, but I'd like to take the time to introduce my family that's here. My husband had a golf tournament today, so I said, honey, don't, change your plans. My brother Mark is here, my brother Derek was here, my sister Sonia is here, and my mom, who will soon be 90, is here. Okay, and like Mrs. Copeland said, get your knees fixed. We had her get her hip fixed, and I think that's why she's like mommy on the go right now. But first of all, I just want to say that while I am a councilwoman, yes, I'm a former board member, I'm just Lisa. I'm just Lisa, and I'm also just mom. The two most important people in my life, besides my husband and God, are my two children with special needs. When Chase was 2.5 and Kira was 6, they were both diagnosed almost simultaneously with autism. You want to talk about a meltdown? They didn't have the meltdown, Mama had the meltdown. And I did not know what to do. We're thrust into this school system where they were telling me, oh no, she's fine, oh no, she passed the test. And I was like, oh no, something's not connecting. We have to go back and retest, we have to do this. Well, finally we got testing done, and yes, it was deemed that Kira had special needs. But the neurologist was the one that did the diagnosis of autism. And at that point in my life, I said, what are we gonna do? The only person I ever knew that had autism was Doug Flutie's son. It's the only time I ever heard of it, and I was like, now my kids have it? Wow. But I didn't know that I was in a world of other women and parents who had the same challenges. So my husband and I didn't curl up in a ball and cry. Well, I did. But I brushed it off and I got on my feet and I said, you know what? We have to do for them. We are not autism parents by choice, but now we are autism parents by choice because we choose to make this work for our family. We are not living in a world of what they can't do that the doctor said that they can't do. We dropped that letter T and it's what I can do and what I have not done yet. I ran for the Board of Education because I felt as though I was given a whirlwind of this, that, and the other. How many parents don't speak up for themselves or ask questions? So I decided that I wanted to be the voice of all of those parents who are too afraid to ask or who did not know the questions to ask. And then I also became my children's voice. So I say, Chase, I am your voice. I will speak up and give you physically, spiritually, emotionally, educationally, socially, everything that you need that you can't ask for. And the same for my child. So I have a village that stands behind me, because I'm going to tell you, I could not do it by myself. My village is my rock. My church stands behind me. My family stands behind me. And I'm never too big to say that I did this all on my own. I've got friends on council. I've got people around me. And then I do want to talk about that. I've got the most wonderful council people that I work with. And I call Michelle my sister from another mister. We have become thick as thieves. She is Thelma and I am Louise. And we will take the city on, walking, knocking on doors, making sure that messages get across and that we help the people. At one point throughout my political career, people would say, DNA, DNA. And I'd say, what does that mean? Do not answer. Don't answer questions that gonna back you into a wall. Well, I'm gonna say DNA stands for, what it really is. Servitude, community, it's part of our DNA. My brother Mark, my brother Derek, my family, we are going to serve our community. We are humble servants, and we do it with pleasure, we do it with pride, and I thank God that we still have the strength to be able to do so. So thank you, everybody, for this honor. I probably talk too much about my kids, but I am going to always be an autism mom to make sure that children and parents understand what they can have in this world socially. Our children are no different in terms of what they need and what they want. They just want to be accepted, they want to be embraced, they want to be loved. Thank you.
Lisa, in appreciation of your outstanding and dedicated service and support throughout the city of Linden, the Linden school system, and the community, we honor you.
Thank you. If any of you do need to leave, that's quite fine. If you would like to have some more tea, enjoy some more snacks, just connect with your friends that are here, take your time and enjoy yourself. The girls are ready to help. I really am thankful. They did a wonderful job today. So, anything else you need, let us know. Take your time relaxing. We don't want everyone to think that, okay, we can get out of here, but if you'd like to stay, we welcome you to stay. Thank you.